Good morning children, welcome to Bridge course Digital Lessons of Telangana. In this session, today we will discuss about electricity and light. Dear students, today we will learn about the important things that are so useful in our daily life are simple electric circuits, light, shadows and reflections. What will you use for lighting if you want to go out in the dark? Yes, it is torchlight. With the help of torchlight only, we can able to see objects in night time. We mostly use torchlight. Torchlight is the source that gives us light. What is present inside the torchlight? How does the bulb get light up inside the torchlight? Students, look at the parts in the torchlight. What are they? Bulb, reflector, sliding switch, outer casing and electric cells. When the lid is closed and the switch is turned on, the circuit closes and the bulb lights up. If the cells are set up incorrectly, switched on, the bulb will not glow in the torchlight. Why? Now let us see now. The bulb lights up only when the cells are mounted in certain manner. Now here you observe, now the bulb is lighting up. Now cells are negative terminal of the battery is attached to the positive terminal of the another battery. Now the take case here bulb is switch is on, bulb is glowing. Now I will reverse these cells, just see. Now negative terminal of the battery is attached to the negative terminal of another battery, it is incorrect way. Now bulb is in off position. We won't get light in this manner. The cell has a cylindrical metal vessel filled with a chemical substance, terminal and carbon rod in the middle of it. It has a bulge one end and is closed with a metallic cap. Now observe the cell. Now metallic cap is there above, chemical is present inside. The bulge end is called positive terminal and the lower part is called negative terminal. It is the positive terminal, it is the negative terminal of the cell. Now observe the torchlight bulb and our normal bulb, both have glass chambers and filament inside. Now what is different? Terminals are different, that you need to observe here. Now you observe the torchlight bulb and electric bulb. In the electric bulb we are having filament, that is why bulb is glowing. Now you see there is a metal lid and glass cavity on the top of it with the two strings inside it. The lid is attached to the base in the middle. The two wires acts as positive and negative terminals. There is a thin spring like wire that glows is called filament. Why does the cell or bulb have two terminals? Let us see how the bulb glows with the help of the cell. Now in this figure we are having a battery, red wire, yellow wire, blue wire and green wire. Now red wire and yellow wire is attached to the cell and bulb is attached to green wire and blue wire. Now with the help of them, now we will construct a simple circuit. Let us see. The blue and green wires, green electric wires are the connected to the bulb and the red and yellow wires are connected to the cell with the help of a wide rubber band. Now observe this terminal. Here we are having arrangements B, C, D, E and F and G. Now various arrangements are there. Now let us see. In B, bulb is attached to the only one terminal. In C, here also lower part. In E, next observe the D. Here the wires are properly joined. Now you see in E, here also wires are properly joined. Now here in F, there is a disconnection of the wire between bulb and cell. Now here is also in G, we will having a disconnection of the wire. Now let us see, construct the electric circuit with connecting wires in different ways as shown in the figure. You can experiment on your own at your home. Now out of all these figures, in which figure the bulb will glow, in which figure the bulb does not glow? Let us see now why and what is the reason. Now in the figure D and E, what happens? The bulb glows only in these two arrangements. Why? Because here there is a completely filled circuit, there is no gap of wires, both are connected to the positive terminal of the battery and negative terminal of the battery, that is why bulb is glowing. In figure F and G, there is an open path, that means here there is a break in the circuit. That means, now in figure F you observe the lower yellow wire is not joined with the green wire of the bulb. In figure G, red wire of the battery is not joined with the blue wire of the bulb. Therefore, there is an open path, there is no closed path for electricity to flow. Now, in figure B and C, bulb is attached to only one terminal of the battery, that is why current is not flowing through them. Connecting wires are not connecting in the same terminal of the battery. What did you understand about this? When the two terminals of the cell are connected to the two terminals of the bulb with two electrical wires, the circuit is complete and the bulb has flown. An electric circuit provides the full path required for the flow of electricity between cell and the bulb. The electric bulb also has a similar circuit. The two wires in the circuit are connected to the two terminals of the bulb and are in turn connected to the switch. When the switch is turned on, the circuit is complete and the current flows through it. What is a switch? How does it work? Let us observe now. Let us construct the circuit on the wooden board as shown in the figure. Now, in the figure we are having a bulb, wire and a board. Now, in board we have taken two display board pins and we joined them with the points A and B, and we arranged a safety pin and it is open at A and it is attached to the point B. Now, did you get electricity out of it? Bulb will not glow. Why? Because here it is not joined with the point A. Now, you see, now bulb glows when it is attached to the point B and A. Does the bulb glow now? Does not glow. Now, touch the second end of the safety pin to point A. You observe that the bulb is glowing. The switch performs the action of turning on and off the power supply to all electrical appliances in our house. The flow of electric current in an electrical circuit is called current. Now, it is the switch normally we will see at our homes. We all know the significance of electric current in our daily life. Have you ever seen a screwdriver, tester used for electrical work? Yes, now it is the tester and many types of screwdrivers. Did you observe the handle? Now, handle is made up of plastic or an insulated material. Their handles are made up of plastic instead of metal. Did you notice that? Why? Open circuit. Now, in open circuit we are having the points A and B, there is no materials, but if we take some materials like safety pin we have seen earlier, if we put them between points A and B, the bulb will glow. Why? Because electric current passes through the safety pin. Instead of that, if you take a plastic scale and put between the points A and B, the bulb will not glow. Why? Because through plastic scale current will not pass, because it is an insulator. There are some materials which allow the passage of electricity through them are called conductors. Let us see now. The objects that allow the flow of electricity through them are called conductors. For example, safety pin, hairpin, iron screw, etc. The objects that do not allow the flow of electricity through them are called insulators, like our plastic scale. For example, when a plastic scale, paper or glass rod put between points A and B, bulb will not glow, because these are insulated materials. Metals are good conductors of electricity. So, handles must be made up of with insulators for electrical tools, otherwise we will get shock. Now, children, so far we have revised important points in electricity. Now, we will switch on for the lesson light. Now, children, in this picture have you observed what the both brother and sister are doing? They are studying under the light. Now, they can able to see the content inside their book and surrounding objects too. Suddenly when power goes off, you see what happens, nothing is visible in the home. Why it is happening? Now, we will take up in our the lesson light. How can we see the objects? When you are performing homework late in the night, suddenly there was a power cut, then you cannot see any objects. What is the reason behind it? Can you guess? If there is no light, therefore, we cannot see any object in the room. Yes. How can we see objects when there is light? Look at the figure here. Now, here is a small girl. Now, she is observing the jug on the table. Now, what is happening exactly? Why this jug is visible to the girl? It is the question. Now, the light from the source falling on to the jug and again it is reflecting into the eyes of the girl. Therefore, the jug is visible to the us. If suddenly this light is there is a power cut in our house, there will not be any light emitting from this source. Therefore, what happens? We cannot see this jug. It is the visual perception. The light ray falls on the jug from the bulb and from there it reflects into the eyes of girl. That is why it is visible, the jug is visible for the girl. In the same way for us also. Now, how can we see objects when there is light? Now, look at the figure here. The light coming from the bulb falls on the object and the light reflects from the object and reaches our eye, giving us visual perception. Therefore, we can see it clearly. A substance which gives light is known as light source. Can you give some more examples for sources of light? Yes, flame, candle, bulb, sun. Yes, the sun is the largest source of light in the universe. When did you observe your shadow? Is it during daytime or night? Usually, we see shadows during daytime. We need light to get shadow of any object. We observe shadows in moonlight on a full moon day. We also get our shadow at night in our house when there is electric bulb is in on position. Is it possible to form shadows when there is no sunlight, bulb or any other light? What do we need to form a shadow? Yes, only some objects can form shadows, others cannot. Now, let us look about them. Some substances do not allow light to pass through them. These objects form shadows. These are called opaque substances. For example, paper, plank, wood, iron, etc. Now, let us see. Now, small boy is observing out of the paper, nothing is visible to him. It is an opaque object. Instead of it, if you replace with a plank or your writing pad, will other person can be visible to you? No, such objects are called opaque objects. Light will not pass through them, you must remember it. The substances like glass, air allow the light to pass through them, hence they do not get their shadows. Such substances are called transparent substances. Now, you see, now here there is a glass on the hand of child. Now, we can see his face also because it is transparent. Now, if you take any wrapper, plastic wrapper, we can see those things. These are transparent substances. Now, the substances such as polythene cover and oil paper partially allow the light to pass through them. Their shadows are unclear. These are called translucent substances. Now, how can we make translucent substances? As with the help of paper. Now, take a paper and take some coconut oil and apply on it and wipe it for some time. After 5 to 10 minutes, you take it and you observe the figure now. You observe the figure, it appears as it is. Now, something is visible, but it is not clear. Such substances are called translucent substances. Now, we made our own translucent paper. We need not only a source of light, an opaque object to get a shadow, but also a screen. Not only light and opaque object, in order to get shadow, we require a screen, otherwise we cannot see light. Now, do shadows have color? Now, let us discuss about color of a shadow. Take 4 balls of equal size, but different colors. Now, try to form a shadow of each ball as shown in the figure. You can do this experiment on your own at your home. Now, here there is a girl and boy. They have taken balls of different colors. Now, girl is applying torchlight on the ball. Now, boy is observing on the wall. Now, on the observing wall, can we say the color of the ball? No, we cannot see the color of a ball on a shadow. Is it possible to guess the color of the object by observing its shadow? If not, why? Shadow is an area where light is absent. Hence, the shadow is colorless irrespective of the color of the object. Therefore, we will not have any color for shadows. We cannot guess the object by observing its shadow. Is it true? Let us see now. You may notice that shadows that look like bird and animals are actually formed by hands. Now, you observe there are 4 figures. Now, just assume by which figures we are getting this shadow. First one is ball, S, second tree, right, third nail, S, second one is a bird, third one is a rabbit like structure. Now, we see actually from which sources these shadows are formed. Nail we got correct. Now, second and third figure you leave it for some time. Now, observe ball we got right, tree we got right, but you observe with the hands only we are forming the shadow, with fingers we are getting a mouth of rabbit, and with 2 hands we are getting the shape of a bird. Is it true to guess the shadows? By looking at shadow, can we guess the object? No, sometimes it may mislead us. Now, have you observed this figure? As in olden days, it is the art of puppetry. Now, in background behind the scene, some objects are playing, some toys are played. Now, we can see their shadows on the screen. It is highly entertaining. Before the arrival of films and televisions, have you ever observed shadow puppetry? Shadow puppetry is one of the traditional recreational activities. In this, some puppets are used to perform a shadow on screen and a story is narrated with the help of these shadows. It is the famous recreational for our, if you ask your grandparents, they will tell you. Now, shape of a shadow. All shadows have some shapes. Depending on the shapes, we cannot determine the object, but shape will not be sometimes clear. Now, you observe what is required to get shape of perfect object. Observe the picture. Now, here light rays are falling on this vessel. Now, we are observing some shadow on the table. Why? Because it is an opaque object. Now, you see pot is an opaque object. Now, light is not transmitted to it. Therefore, if it is in straight line, then only we are observing shadow. Now, take out the second figure. Here there is a book. Now, light is falling in the straight line to the book. Therefore, we are observing the shadow of a book on the wall. Now, let us see another 2 figures. Can we imagine the shape of shadow by seeing an object? Sometimes we can guess, sometimes it may mislead us. We can imagine the shape of a shadow by seeing the object and direction of light. Here, some light rays from torchlight are falling on the pot and bouncing back. The remaining light rays travel in straight line and making a shadow on the screen. Here, the light rays coming from the back of the book are in straight line. Therefore, shadow falls in front of the book. Now you can understand that we can draw proper shadows when we understand the path of light is straight line. Getting different shapes of shadows of single object. Why do the shadows of a single shape form different images? Because the light rays travel in a straight line path. The object can be positioned facing the light source in different ways and form shadows of different shapes. Now, we will go for pinhole camera. Now, what is pinhole camera? It will look like. Now, as what are the materials required for it? Now, approximately you need to take two pipes, one of 8 centimeters diameter, another is of 7 centimeters diameter. Now, you take a black chart or black cloth. Now, you tie it with your rubber band. You take an white paper and tie it with rubber band. On this white paper, you make an oil drop. Therefore, it becomes translucent. Afterwards, you take a small pin and put a hole on this black paper. Now, take this paper which is covered with white paper and insert it into this one, and now I am observing a candle through this pinhole camera. You can make it with the help of white papers also, A4 size papers also, by rolling at your home. Large objects can be seen through the tiny hole on it. How? We will see now. Now, there is a candle, it is a source of light. Now, this light I am seeing through the pinhole camera. Now, I am adjusting sliding, this will be sliding one. Now, this white color screen is sliding one pipe. Now, I am seeing a glow of candle from it. Now, what is happening? Light rays are going inside and it is reflected on the translucent paper. Now, we can observe the position of light on translucent paper. Through small hole, we are observing this. Now, what is happening? This position is reversed, inverted position. Why it is happening? Now, let us see now. If you observe a candle from this camera, the ray of light emitted from the top of the candle flame travels in a straight way and reaches to the bottom of the screen of the camera. In the same way, the light emitted from the bottom of the candle reaches the top of the screen in the camera. In this way, only the rays coming from different points in a flame in the direction of pinhole enter into the camera. That is why we can see it in inverted position, because light is travelling in straight line. So, now do you understand that the reflection of flame on the screen is inverted? Yes, the inverted image of the object is due to the rectilinear property of light only. What is this rectilinear property? Light propagates in straight line, it is nothing but rectilinear property. For 7th standard, it is enough. In higher classes, you will learn more about this property. Now, observe a tree, a larger one, candle is a smaller one. Observe a tree through your window which is outside. Now, you can see it very nicely on your camera in inverted position. Now, you can make your own camera at home and you can observe this one. Now, reflection. What is reflection? Is there any difference between reflection and shadow? Now, let us look into it. This bouncing back of light from a surface is called reflection. Now, you see there is a girl. Now, she is looking her face in the mirror. What is happening inside the mirror? Let us see. Light is reflected from the girl's mirror into the girl's eye. Now, from this into the eye of the girl. Now, light reflected onto the mirror, therefore, the girl can able to see her image on the mirror. The reflection is due to the rays of light falling on our face, falling back on the mirror, and from there they reach into our eyes, so that we can see our face in the form of reflection. We are able to see the objects, that is because when the light falling on the objects return to our eyes, then we can see object. This property of light is called reflection. We know that a shadow has no color. However, if the object is any color, the reflection will be the of same color. The shadow only indicates the shape of objects, the reflection is completely like photo of an object. Now, evaluation. Now, in evaluation we will have some questions and you need to answer them. What is an electric circuit? Explain with a diagram. What are the parts of a torchlight? Now, children, observe this figure, and in this figure we are having which light or which circuit is completed, and by electric bulb glows. You identify out of A, B, C, D. In which of the following diagrams does the bulb glow? What is required to get shadow of an opaque body? Classify the following objects into transparent, translucent and opaque objects. Objects are cardboard, duster, polythene cover, oily paper, glass, spectacle lens, piece of chalk, ball, table, book, window of a glass, palm, your school bag, mirror, air and water. Now, you classify the materials into transparent, translucent and opaque. The sun is the largest source of light in the universe. Dear children, today so far we learnt about electricity and light. In electricity, we have seen what are the sources of light and also how a simple electric circuit is collected with the help of connecting wires, switch, bulb. And also we have seen what are conductors, what are insulators, and also in light. Now, we have seen how shadows are formed. Do shadows have color and do shadows have shape, and all shadows are formed due to rectilinear propagation of light and also reflection. Do reflection have color, and is there any differences between reflection and shadow, and what are the conditions to form a shadow? Now, we have learnt in our bridge course session the 6th and 7th standard lessons today, and so that we can fill the gap between our content. Thank you.